friend was Frank. Once a year, usually on the 4th of July, the family got together for a 3-day picnic. Uncle Fred and his family came from Farmington, some 30 miles east, and Aunt Judy came from Lewiston with Grandma Jenny. Calvin wondered why Judy had never married. She was over 40, and even in his eyes a beautiful woman. Maybe Judy felt she was the only one left at home to care for her aging mother after her father had died. As the family gathered again in 1913, Cal and Frank sat quietly in the shade of the planted maples in the backyard, listening to the men tell dirty stories as the women prepared dinner. Somehow, when the boys showed us they had big ears, the conversation turned to lighter subjects. Calvin's mother appeared on the back steps. "Dinner will be ready in half an hour," she yelled. "Now don't any of you go wandering off." Alfred answered, "All right, Maggie, we don't intend to." When she disappeared back inside, Fred rolled a cigarette and said, "I always liked Margaret's Irish accent. How come her folks don't join us?" "Too far, I guess," Alfred said. "They come once in a while. Say, Alfred, remember that stagecoach holdup in Lewiston when we were kids?" "Yeah, Sid had a vision where the money was buried. Boy, that was scary. We found it, too." Fred shook his head. "And she made us bury it again. She thought she heard the robbers riding down the draw. Hell, they were already dead, caught by the sheriff and hung. Sid told us it was their ghosts. Whoever touched the money would die. She was so upset we went along with her." "Good thing we did," Fred said. "It came true. Was Sid ever wrong?" Cal and Frank sat wide-eyed, listening to the older folks talk of days past. They had admired Grandfather John, who'd come to the Willamette in a covered wagon over the Oregon Trail. Cal wished he'd met him before he died. Uncle Jacob said he'd been a horse thief in Missouri, and bounty hunters had chased him. Cal didn't believe it. He wondered how much of these stories he could believe. His father said he was given a book by Grandfather John telling about the Roberts family all the way back to the Revolution, but Alfred forgot where it was. Cal didn't believe that either. Still, it was fun listening to their yarns, and most would be repeated next year when the family got together again. Cal didn't want to go back to school that September. He'd be in the 8th grade, but Frank wouldn't be there. He'd finished the 8th grade last year and decided that was enough. He wanted to earn money. Cal wanted to join his cousin, but his mother insisted he finish his learning. "There's plenty of time to work," she had said, "and not much time to learn." His father didn't care one way or the other, would just as soon have Frank work in the meat market with him, but he wasn't going to argue with his determined wife. So Cal trudged off to the 3-story brick building on the hill. He did work in the market after school, cutting and wrapping meat. On Saturday, he rode Jake to a farm where his father had purchased a beef, sometimes 2 or 3, and led them to the corral by the slaughterhouse a mile out of town. On a Saturday in October, Cal was back at the market early and saw his father visiting with Luke Jackson, owner of the hardware store near the railroad tracks. Luke seemed excited about something, but that wasn't unusual for him. He had a round red face like a perpetual sunburn, and his stomach hung over his belt as if he were pregnant. He got excited when holidays came, waved the flag on the 4th of July, decorated his store at Christmas, and cried at weddings. "By golly, Alfred, I'm going to have one of those contraptions. I saw a few in Spokane last month, and I ordered one." Luke waved his arms as he talked. "I've heard of them. I hear they run on gasoline?" "Oh, that's right. Pete Campbell said if enough people bought these automobiles, he'd convert his blacksmith shop to a garage and put up a gas pump." Luke inhaled and swelled his chest. "And you know what, Alfred? I'm going to be the first in St. John to own one." "I hear they make different kinds. Paper says the most popular is a Model T Ford. They have lots of them back east." "Might be. Anyway, next Saturday they're going to deliver one to me on the train. A mechanic will come along with it and show me how it works." The more Luke talked, the more excited he got, and when he left the shop, he waddled across the street to his hardware store. Alfred watched him with a wide grin and put his hand on Cal's shoulder. "Luke is going to tell everyone in town. I'll bet there'll be quite a crowd at the depot next week. You don't want to miss that, son. If his car works, I might get one." A holiday atmosphere settled over the town. Talk of Luke's new car was the biggest news since statehood. Women buzzed in the grocery store, men gabbed in the tavern, and around the pickle barrel in the meat market. A farmer said he'd seen